Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we are looking at the 1992 release by the BBC Audio Collection from their Doctor Who The Missing Stories series of audio cassettes. And this particular one we are looking at today is from the second Doctor story, which was called The Macra Terror, which starred Patrick Troughton as the Doctor and featured his companions Ben, Polly and Jamie. Okay, so this is the case it comes in, and at the top it says BBC Audio Collection, and it says Doctor Who The Missing Stories, The Macra Terror, starring Patrick Troughton. And there you can see an image of Patrick Troughton as the Doctor. You've got an image of the TARDIS, and you've got an image of the Macra at the bottom there. Okay, so that is the front of the case. Now, before we have a good look inside, let's turn the case around and see what we got printed on the back. Okay, so I've turned the case around and this is what we've got on the back. Now, again, it says BBC Audio Collection. It says Doctor Who The Missing Stories, The Macra Terror, starring Patrick Troughton and presented by Colin Baker. And then just below that, you've got all the copyright and warning information there. And it says, the Macra Terror no longer exists at the BBC Film and Videotape Library in Brantford. As far as we know, there are no copies anywhere in the world, despite exhaustive searches through the vaults of foreign TV stations, who purchased this and other Patrick Troughton adventures during the 1960s and 70s. BBC Audio Collection has been able to obtain a copy of the soundtrack, however, and thanks to modern sound technology and a commentary by Doctor Number 6, Colin Baker, you can enjoy again one of the most popular stories of the Troughton era of Doctor Who. Colin Baker was delighted to contribute to these cassettes, having appeared with Patrick at numerous Doctor Who gatherings in the UK and USA, and of course in their popular 1980s adventure, The Two Doctors. So why not join the Doctor and his companions Ben, Polly and Jamie as they witness the Macra Terror. Okay, and there of course you've got an image of Colin Baker here as the sixth Doctor. I'm just going to turn the case to the side, and it says Doctor Who The Missing Stories, The Macra Terror. Okay, now obviously this was quite some time ago, 1992. We're talking 32 years ago when this was released, and it was obviously before they done a animated version of this particular episode. So up until that point, this point in 1992, you had no way of knowing the story. If you hadn't seen it when it was transmitted, you would not know what the story, how the story went. There was some telestamp archives that were done in the Doctor Who magazine, which were still photographs of the episode that were taken at the time of recording. So they done almost like a comic strip version of the story in the magazine. But this is the actual audio dialogue from the actual TV episode, with Colin Baker doing the linking narration. So obviously now we've got the video cassette or the DVD with the animated version again, which uses this original audio version of the episode. Okay, so that's the case. Let's open the cassette up and see what we got inside. Okay, so I've taken the cassettes out, and I've also taken out the inner card because I just wanted to show you what's on the card. Now it says The Macra Terror by Ian Stewart Black, presented by Colin Baker, and it stars the Doctor as Patrick Troughton, played by Patrick Troughton, Ben, Michael Craze, Polly, Anneke Wills, Jamie, Frazer Hines. The pilot was Peter Jeffrey. Ola was Gerton Klaber, Medoc, Terence Lodge, Barney, Graham Armitage, Questa, Ian Fairbanks, or Fairbairn, I should say, Suna, Jane Enshaw, Chicky, Sandra Bryan, Elvis, Anthony Gardner, Drum Margarette, Maureen Lane, Macra Operator, Robert Jewell, Officia, John Harvey, who's a broadcast propaganda. Voices, Richard Beale. Control voice, Dennis Gocher. Controller, Graham Lehman. Leader of the cheerleaders, Roger Jerome. Cheerleader 1, Ralph Carrigan. Cheerleader 2, Terry Wright. And title music by Ron Grainer and the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, produced by Ennis Lloyd, directed by John Davis. Doctor Who, The Missing Stories audio collection, presented by John Nathan Turner. And it says, we apologise that the sound quality of these historical recordings may be variable. So, and then it gives you the Doctor Who catalogue on video at the time in 1992. So the releases were from William Hartnell era, An Unearthly Child, The Daleks Part 1 and Part 2, The Dead Planet and the Expedition, The Daleks Invasion Earth Parts 1 and 2, The Web Planet Parts 1 and 2, and The Hartnell Years, which was a compilation. From the Troughton era, you had The Tomb of the Cybermen, The Dominators, The Mind Robber, The Crotons, Seeds of Death, The War Games Parts 1 and 2, and The Troughton Years, again a compilation. From the Pertwee era, you had Spearhead from Space, Day of the Daleks, the Three Doctors, The Time Warrior, Death of the Daleks, The Planet of the Spiders, which is double audio, double video cassette, and The Pertwee Years, again a compilation. From the Tom Baker era, you had Robot, The Ark in Space, The Sontaran Experiment, and Genesis of the Daleks, Revenge of the Cybermen, Terror of the Zygon, Pyramids of Mars, The Brain of Morbius, The Mask of Mandragora, The Deadly Assassin, The Robots of Death, The Talons of Wen Chiang, The City of Death, and Legopolis. And from Peter Davison era, you had Castrovalva, The Five Doctors, and The Caves of Androzani. And finally, Sylvester McCoy, you had The Curse of Fenric. Now, I'll go back again and say this is from 1992, long before the completion of all the Doctor Who cassette stories were on video. Okay, so let's just have a very quick look at the tapes, because you can't see much on the tapes, but it says Doctor Who, The Macra Terror, ISBN 0563 366 826. BBC 1992 BBC Enterprises Limited, and it's side 1, and it's ZBBC 1342, and you've got the BBC logo. And on the other side, it's exactly the same, apart from the fact you've got side 2 on there. And it says all rights of the manufacturer and of the owner of the recorded work reserved. Unauthorised public performance, broadcasting, and copying of this tape is prohibited. That's that one. And now we got side 3, which is again exactly the same. It's apart from the fact it's got number 3 on there. It's BBC 1342, BBC logo again. On the last side, you've got side 4, and again you've got the copyright information at the bottom there. Okay, so that is the missing stories, and now BBC produced a whole BBC Audio Collection produced a whole load of these for the missing adventures. There was some from the Hartnell era and the Troughton area, because all the others were available on video and there wasn't any that had been lost. They did also then do a couple of original ones from the Pertwee era, so they did. It was quite a broad selection of missing adventures and new adventures that they did do on audio during the years when Doctor Who was not on air. So how well did they do? Yep, well, these cassettes done exceptionally well, and obviously that was, as I say, at the time this was the only way you was going to hear the missing adventures. You couldn't see them anywhere else. I think at the time Sky was rerunning the original episodes that were available in the BBC archive. They were being shown on UK Gold, but other than that, anything that was missing adventures you just couldn't see. Obviously you couldn't see because they're missing. So the audio adventures was the only way that you would be able to hear, and then you just use your imagination as you're listening to the story itself. So yeah, I mean, they've done very well, simply because of that, because that was the only way you could ever re-experience these episodes then. Obviously now they've been redone in animation, using the same recordings, which are the original studio recordings. So now you've got the animated version plus the original recordings, and I think there's one of the episodes of this particular television series has been found, so it is available on that same DVD. But so anyway, overall, yeah, done very well. But now we're talking 32 years on, finding these audio cassettes. Yeah, quite difficult now, but then things have moved on, so you would expect it to. Audio cassettes are probably a thing of the past, really. There's not many people now that have the audio cassette players anymore, so you know, perhaps even if you did have one of these, you find it difficult to play. But anyway, collectors are still collecting them. They are still sought after, and fortunately we at Midas Touch have managed to find a few of these, and they're currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. It'll take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Doctor Who items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that, there's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that you're not going to want to miss this, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there is something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed this very short video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.